From the entertainment capitals of America, at the largest labels in the music industry, was the Senior Vice President and President of the Black Music Division, Ernie Singleton. Through a collection of knowledge and experience, he has worked with and uplifted the biggest artists in the world.
Welcome to Know Your Role podcast. I am Ro, and this is the #1 leading urban entertainment podcast in Las Vegas. Today we got a very special guest here, and we will be making sure that we are giving as much honor and praise as we can to our veterans in honor of Veterans Day, and also the Marines for their 250th birthday. So before we go ahead and get started, there's been a lot that's been going on in the media and in the news lately, so we want to make sure that we just create a platform that everyone is safe and feels comfortable, and we're also just speaking in praise and honor as much as that we possibly can. Today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, who's back here again, Mr. Ernie Singleton. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, but I'm hungry. Yeah, my snaps done ran out. I can't find my EBT card from last month, and I never used it all. So I'm not doing too good.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
As long as you weren't at the airport also, that was the only thing that was missing.
But when I leave here, I'm going to D.C. and see if I can help them people to understand that we need to open up the government.
Oh, yes. Man, expeditiously. I have a brother that works TSA, and he's constantly telling me how it's going.
You know, I feel for and I applaud all the people who work for TSA, government, people, our first responders, our policemen. And I'm being serious. I
Yes.
really take my hat off to them and hope that something happens really fast,
Yes.
expeditiously, and that there's some sensitivity of the drama that people are living with and going through. Maybe not everybody, but that handful of people who just don't have the funds to buy the food, concerned about, can you imagine not being able to pay your power bill?
Oh, yeah.
They'll cut your stuff off in a
Right.
heartbeat. So I just hope that remedies itself real fast, and that our leaders, Republicans and Democrats, get their heads out of their butts,
Yeah.
and let's focus on what represent the people. We're still a nation that is for the people. It's supposed to be rules and laws to benefit the people, but sometimes, like right now, politics, I don't care what party you're in. I don't if it's Republican, Independent, Democratic. It's like, come on, folks, let's get politics really in the rear and get focused on how to bring our communities and our families back to some degree of harmony.
Absolutely.
and stability.
There's real lives that are being affected right now, and it's not just in the sense of a numbers game, but it's real people with children and with elderly individuals that are in their houses and the power gets cut off. For example, some people are on life support in those situations, and sometimes you got to have all times you got to have your food refrigerated. So there's different individuals who are deeply impacted that, it's not just a push off thing. They're literally living through this day by day.
Yeah.
So I really hope that we have a fast answer to what's going on so that way we can keep progressing as a nation.
And I'm not really hungry.
Oh,
But thank you, and it's good to be here again.
Oh, great. It's an honor to have you here again, Ernie. Since we've last talked, they came out with the trailer for Michael. Now, I know from your industry experience and connections that you've had, you've worked closely with a few individuals that were present in that trailer as well, including Michael Jackson himself, and Quincy Jones was in that trailer too. Mm-hmm. How did you feel watching that trailer?
Well, I was delighted to see that we're going to kind of dive a little deeper into the greatness. I want to say the greatness of Michael. Quincy is in a class by himself as well, as have been so many people. But to stay on course with Michael in that trailer, I thought it was good. I thought it was good that we're bringing a lot of his incredible business sophistication to the forefront. I really regret that I didn't bring. I have a buddy, guy named John Nettlesby, who literally worked in the studio with both Quincy and Michael. But we'll maybe revisit that sometime in the future.
Yes, please.
But I thought that trailer represented some historical elements, the greatness of an individual. Michael was great at 8 and 9 years old. So he didn't just get great at Thriller or not. He was great early in the game. And that part, I think, brings to my awareness an appreciation for his father, Joe Jackson, who a lot of people kind of, white people, how they bring their kids up and how black people bring their kids up are typically quite different. But whatever Joe Jackson did with all of his kids was phenomenal. And forget the fact that he's not a Harvard or a Yale graduate. He was an incredible, savvy parent and businessman.
Yes.
And we're seeing that in Michael as we began to see it. And I don't want to go into Janet and I don't want to go into other members of the family. But that trailer, to me, puts Michael Jackson in a light that will cause people to begin to dive a little bit deeper into the intellect, the creative force, and the intelligence that this brother had.
Oh man, everything he did was well thought out too. I mean, and even in a sense of his moral standpoint, in the beginning of the Thriller music video, it starts off with an apology to let everyone know that it's no participation with the occult, and it was just for pure entertainment. That's just another insight of just how deep he personally felt in his heart and in connection to make sure that his representation was always well thought out. And I hope we get to see more glimpses of that inside of this film, including The Wiz. I'd love to see them show the experience with him and Diana Ross. And, he looked up to her and being able to be with her on set, I think. And also Nipsey Russell was there too. It was an incredible cast.
Yeah.
So,
well, Michael is the only artist that I've known of in my entire career and that I can point a finger at who attracted the youth. I'm talking about the babies, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. From the beginning, in his days of ABC, Stop the Love You Save, Ben, all the way up until his death.
Yeah.
Michael's music resonated with the masses. And they say children and fools speak the truth. The kids would hear his music. And I'm talking about little babies at 2 years old. If they could stand up in the crib and Michael's music is playing, trust me, whether it was Rock With You or Billie Jean, the kids were going to respond.
yes.
And it didn't matter what country they were from, what nationality, what race. There's something special about that, brother.
Absolutely.
And I'll leave it at that because if people don't know, they really do need to know. And if they're going to do a big movie about Michael, it's worth seeing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be incredible. I mean, my first time was on stage in third grade. I performed Rockin' Robin and did it a cappella, and my mom was there and was nervous for me, and she just started clapping along so that way it wouldn't be awkward, so the whole audience
Did you rock in the treetops?
Oh, yeah,
night
all day long. Upset the Buzzard and the Oriole, like I was up there.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Another resurgence that's come up with this.
But let me just say this on Michael about his greatness. Michael's dance moves, since we're talking about him in that clip, the moves he did, even though he might have had choreography to bring it to a new level, but you've got to go back to people like James Brown and the moves he made.
Oh yeah,
and
that footwork.
Amazing. The kind of things that happen in our culture in America was unbelievable. Michael happened to be the beginning of a generation of young people that was able to perform and do what he did as we began to get quote unquote civil rights. So whatever happened in the 60s really paved the road for Michael in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And his greatness was elevated to another level. And I say that to say there were probably other Michael Jacksons in the past, the Billie Holidays, the Louis Armstrongs, that maybe did not get their true credit for how good they were, because we were then a society that suppressed African American greatness. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so going hand in hand with that, I want to ask you from an industry standpoint, when you're seeing the impact that Michael was having every time he released something, was that something that kind of either sent shivers down the industry, or did it inspire to say, we got to do that?
Oh, it was inspiration, always inspiration. You know, Michael's music was entertainment at its finest. And there was nothing other than that. You had to receive it for what it was. And when you transcend all, when you make blind race, which is what you do when kids react to it like as if it's one of their favorite songs. So parents, white parents, black parents, Latino parents, they see their kids just like rock wilding out
Yeah.
over that music. I love Frank Sinatra, but they didn't wild out over Frank's music.
No.
I love Elvis. They didn't wild out over Elvis's music.
Yeah.
They didn't even wild out over James Brown's music. But Michael's music had something different. Very infectious. Very universal.
And I think that infection is coming back in a high level right now. I mean, there's people who are excited, and they started making AI videos of Michael Jackson. I think you've seen a few of them, like the Michael Jackson, Martin Luther King Jr., or Michael and Prince.
Yeah.
What do you think with this AI? Is it something for these artists who have passed away, because it's introducing a younger audience to them? Of course, it's falsified because, you know, Michael's not standing on top of a mountain in real life right now. But in a sense, for the younger audiences, how do you feel about this connection that they have with AI of people who have passed away?
I think it's incredible. And I don't think it's falsified. I think it's elevated.
Okay.
I think it's put into another perspective. And it's, you know, it's just shining an even brighter light on something that's already mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Michael's moves were mesmerizing, as were James Brown's. But when you put a spotlight on that and you put it in another zone, in another perspective, you put it on a mountaintop or on the top of the Empire State Building, and all of a sudden it has a whole new wow factor.
Yeah, we can see
it's
him.
like King Kong. There was no AI, right? It's like King Kong on top of the Empire State Building with the blonde in his hand. Like, King Kong, you can't be making love to that woman, right? But it was unbelievable. It was an unforgettable scene. So when you put people like Michael Jackson in perspective and you embellish it with AI, you give it another dimension. You give it new life.
I mean, we can see him moonwalking on the moon now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible. The sky's the limit. So
But I'm not going up there with him.
Oh, no. Well, Ernie, thank you so much in regards to your insight, your knowledge. One thing that we don't talk about enough is thanking you for your services that you provided to the nation as well. So we thank you.
Well, we're going to take that to another level as well. Our military, our veterans, and their families, by the way, go through so much and have endured so much to serve our country. So we've done something that's next level. We honor and celebrate and get awards in the Grammys for music. We in film and TV. You got Academy Awards, and the list goes on. Things we do to acknowledge and validate our communities. What we're about to do, and not about to do, we're actually in the process of doing it right now as we speak, is something called Home of the Brave. And it's a military focused version of a primetime TV show, much like what we've seen with The Voice and Idol and Masked Singer, except only veterans. And we're going to honor our veterans. We're going to honor their families, and we're going to honor their children. So if you are a member of a military family, you're going to want to be involved with this event that we're producing. And it's a primetime TV show. And the show is called Home of the Brave.
And I think it's key to also point out, there's a lot of talent that we see constantly on social media. So the talent that's hidden inside of the individuals within the military, the branches, who can express themselves and showcase exactly what they can do and have that opportunity to be on this platform, I think is going to be huge, where it's not just a platform, it's something that's going to be a launch pad in the end of the day.
It's going to be a launch pad, and it's also going to be a show that's going to continue to validate and compliment and acknowledge our military. I'm talking Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. Those branches, whether you're a veteran or a family member of one of those veterans, then you can be a part of this show. But you will be representing a branch of the militaries. So you're going to represent the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. You got to pick your branch. If you want to represent more than one, we'll talk about that a little bit more, because that comes with how people vote on this particular show we're doing. But we're excited about it.
And submissions are opening soon for people to...
Submissions open right now.
Oh, man.
You go online, you just type in www.homeofthebravetv.com, and you'll be right into the Home of the Brave platform.
And the show premieres on March 1st, 2026?
March 1st, 2026 on national networks and major streaming outlets worldwide. We're already committed to be in over 200 million households.
Amazing. This is going to be a huge thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to speak a little bit more on Home of the Brave. Before we do, I do want to make sure that we get to hear out from some of our veterans that we have out there and how they feel about Veterans Day on this special day.
But make sure the veterans put in which branch of the military they represent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And which one they think might win Home of the Brave.
I like that.
Who got the most talent? Is it the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines?
I think there's a lot of
Coast Guard,
talented
maybe?
people in the Army that I've seen several videos of Army individuals that they express some crazy talents.
I heard some people from the Navy say that they don't think the people that the Army going to win.
Well, we're going to have to see. So we're going to check that out right now, and we'll be right back.
Happy Veterans Day to all my fellow living service members. Let's not forget what this day is actually about. You are alive. You are walking. You are breathing. You made it home. You could see your family. We have turned this day into hashtags, free food, and discounts at the mall. Let's not take away the true definition of Veterans Day. Be grateful that you're alive. That'll be great.
Good morning. We have Oscar Pierce here, who was in the Air Force, 1963-64 in Korea. Mr. Pierce, what do you feel about Veterans Day?
How do I feel about it? I think it's great. I think it's very great.
Do you elaborate on the celebration? Anything you want to say for coming up for Veterans Day?
No, just that I've been looking forward to it. It gives the public an outlook and the meaningful of serving the country on Veterans Day.
Awesome. Well, sir, thank you for your services.
You're welcome.
So for me, I think that Veterans Day is a really good day for us to remember all the people who have served and are still alive. Memorial Day is obviously to honor the people that have passed away. I think that it gives us a chance. Yeah, we get free food and yeah, we get a lot of free stuff when it comes to Veterans Day, but the real deeper meaning of it is the fact that we're honoring the people that have actually, like Lester said earlier, wrote a blank check up to their cost of their own life. So that's what Veterans Day means to me and what I think about it. I think it's a great thing. I think more people should join the military. I think that it straightens you out, and it's the best 4 years of your life. And some of the people that you meet and you have, they'll be with you forever.
Hi, I'm Delvin Bourne. I'm a United States paratrooper, veteran. What Veteran Day means to me, it's a chance to get together with all your friends, remember your brothers and sisters from combat and your time in the service. It's just a good time just to remember the people, because veterans, we're only 3% of the population, and then the combat guys, we're only 1%. So like I said, that's what's better about this was, because the veteran community, especially here in Las Vegas, we've got a close-knit veteran community. That's what this is about.
What does Veterans Day mean to me as an Air Force veteran and a female veteran? It just means that it's a day to remember the reason we all signed up It's a day to share with your family. It's a day to spend just remembering the real reason you signed up for and the camaraderie and the community that you build.
Now, glad to have you guys back. We also have another very incredible guest here with us today. I want to make sure to introduce you guys to the multifaceted MC, radio host, poet, and also humanitarian, and it's Jen from Japan. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you so much for asking me to be here today. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. I understand that you're a very busy individual, so thank you for making time for us to be here.
Just a little bit. Just a little busy.
So I listed off of some of the multiple hyphens that you have and what you do. Is there any further insight that you'd like to give us as well?
As far as just like what I do, really Jen from Japan, it's about my voice, sharing my voice in different ways. So it's something that I kind of fell into and realized I once upon a time would not get on a mic and MC. So the fact that I do that now, it just shows that when you kind of go over that fear and just go for it, the magic that happens after that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So
It's an
that's
incredible
pretty much-
thing. You connect with people and you find out a lot of people feel exactly the way that you felt prior to getting on the microphone as well.
Absolutely. That was a big thing. And having everyone say, like, I'm afraid to get on a mic. And I said, I was there. I was there, but look at me now.
Yeah, look at it. Look at the journey, man. And it goes by quick too. So your name, Jen from Japan.
Yeah.
So I'm sure most of our listeners are cued to understand that you are from Japan, but can you please let us know the background of how the name itself came?
Absolutely. Jen from Japan was born out of a space of I wanted to stay true to who I am. And bring light to my roots. I'm a third culture kid, which means I was the product of a military family. I was born and raised in Japan, but I myself am not Japanese. So my mother's from the Philippines. My dad is from Angola, Indiana. So I got a chance to just grow up in a different culture, and I wanted to make sure that I shine light because a lot of people will say, "Are you really from Japan?" And I am. I'm just not Japanese, but I am from Japan.
It's funny. When I went to school, I had a friend of mine. His name was Quincy, and the very first thing he said was, "I'm from Japan." And it's a black guy, and everybody's like, "Okay." And then he's like, and he goes, "No." He asked the teacher. He said, "Make sure to show them." And he said, "Yeah, from Okinawa." And I was like, "Okay." And it's from a military family. So ever since then, I was like, it's very possible. Anybody could be from all over the world. There's different regions.
Right. Just opening your mind and realizing that it's not just one note. Everybody is, it's just like a big, I guess I don't want to say a melting pot, but the world is diverse. And so bringing light to that and showing that whatever the black and white sides of things, right, that there's a lot of color as well. You know what I mean? And I think being able to showcase that is really important. And so I like to, my name is a way I do that because I'm like, yeah, you can assume you know me, but you don't. And it's just one of those things. Like I love to be that person, to be able to like, yeah, no, I'm not Japanese, and be able to talk about that. And so the story comes out behind it,
It's incredible. That's the reason why my name was I Don't Know Ro, because I was like, a lot of people didn't know. They don't know the story. So I completely understand that. So you and Ernie both do a lot of help with the community of veterans. A lot of times people think that veterans have everything figured out the moment that their service is done, that they're going to be receiving backing and support from the VA, and also getting honorable discharge assistance as well. I wanted to know, what are some of the other key issues that veterans are facing that we need to address?
Well, if I may jump in, homelessness, a big deal. It's weird. I went to get gas, and there was a guy parked towards the wall of the gas station in a wheelchair with no legs. He had prosthetics on both legs. So I walked over to him to offer him money. He wasn't panhandling. He was just out to get some air. He refused the money, I told him it would have made me feel good if he took it. He took it, and then after he took it, he said, "Now let me give you some money," and he gave it back to me. So we can't assume where people are. My thought after, and I don't know what the guy was dealing with, but we were just coming out of a cycle here in Las Vegas where the weather was extremely excruciating hot. So I figured, that man probably just wanted to get out of the house and get some air. But you asked a question about issues that goes on: homeless veterans, disabled veterans, and there's another one, and that's the children of veterans, children whose parents died in Afghanistan or wherever. Those kids need help as well. And that's a big part of what we're going to talk about and why we're doing the Home of the Brave primetime TV talent competition, is to help the homeless veterans, the disabled veterans. And they call them Gold Star. Most people don't know what a Gold Star kid is, but these are kids who've lost their parents. And those kids need help, and we're going to provide scholarships for as many as we can.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And speaking on what you said, this gentleman probably was just trying to get out the house. There's a lot of veterans that don't leave the house in most situations. And, you know, if I'm correct, Jen, do you have a foundation or a group that you assist that helps veterans with getting out of the house and just gathering around one another?
So I actually had the opportunity to go to specifically the Leatherneck Club, which is a club on Spring Mountain, and they have a lot of veteran ties. So just to kind of like back up a little bit. I came to Vegas, right, I was a military kid, came to Vegas to pursue more of my art side. So the poetic side, the radio side. And you try to run from something. And it's like, you can't run from something that's in your blood.
Yeah.
You know, so when I spoke to a gentleman, Majid, he knew my ties in the military, and he introduced me to Jim and Ernie and said, "Can you be a part of this?" And absolutely. So through this journey of being a part of Home of the Brave TV, I've gotten a chance to sit down with these different organizations. And like I said, going to the Leatherneck Club, who have a lot of different organizations around the valley. I believe I don't want to missay it. Maybe we can put it somewhere in the bio of like the actual name of it. But there is a group on Instagram, and it is for veterans, and they have about, I want to say like 30,000 some that they serve, and they do different activities throughout the valley that bring them out of the house. You know, that can bring them out of the house. There's also another organization, the Tunnels, for example, underneath Vegas.
Yes.
There's a lot of people living underneath the tunnels, about 1,000 or so. I don't know the exact number. There's an organization that is also veteran friendly, that is, or by veterans, that go into the tunnels to help these humans out and try to pull them out and give them services for when they do decide to come out of the tunnels. And a lot of those individuals that are in the tunnels are veterans as well.
Oh my God.
So there are a lot of organizations around Vegas that I've been learning about through this journey of Home of the Brave, that it breaks your heart, but also empowers you.
Yeah.
Because you realize that you're in a position to be a voice. You're in a position to shine light. And you're just in a position to just like say, hey, we can't turn away. We can't always just turn away. You know, it's time to face things and let's do something about it.
Veterans in a tunnel. Are these homeless veterans?
Yes.
Living in a tunnel?
So there's tunnels underneath Vegas for drainage.
Underground?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get out
On
of
Las
here.
Vegas
Yes.
Boulevard.
If you, I mean, they've shown, I've seen documentaries, I've seen people where they show the inside the tunnels and how they can see out onto the roads of Las Vegas. You know, they've
Amazing.
done these different
Wow.
things, and this organization goes into the tunnels, and there's certain areas you can't go into because of, I mean, there's a hierarchy. There's king and a queen, and I mean, there's really a whole community under there, and it just shows you that, number one, humans are resilient.
Yes.
You know, we will make a way anywhere, but why does it have to be like that?
It's
know?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So a group of my friends, we went down into the tunnels before. So on this entry point at the end of the strip, and when we got in there, there's only so far that you can go into there because of the
Right.
hierarchy. and there's certain individuals who have been stabbed and who have been wounded inside of there by other people who just keep outsiders away from that community.
Yes, there's like mental illness. There's there's a lot of different things. So yeah, the safety why there's a reason why you're not supposed to just travel in. Going with a group that's familiar if you're interested, but also. I think what's better than that is just providing that assistance. You know what I mean? For when they do come out of those spaces, if they want to, you know
Of
what
course.
I mean? If that's where their journey is going to take them. But I think shining the light on that is really important for sure.
Absolutely. And having an open heart and lack of judgment for these individuals and why they're there and what's going on.
Absolutely.
Still proceeding with caution and respect for everyone because this is their living environment. But yeah, it's beautiful that there's organizations that are trying to help out. So yeah, the tunnels are a big deal, and especially when it rains. So they have footage showing when it has our flash floods in Las Vegas. That's why they have a bunch of crates for their beds, and they're off the ground at least 5 feet just in case if it ever has
Once
a
the rain
drainage issue.
starts.
Well, thank God I've never had to be homeless or live outdoors. But if I had to live outdoors, I'd always have a crate. Yeah, I have a crate just to make sure that I'm not sleeping completely on the ground.
Oh
But,
yeah,
but you said something that very, I'd say nerve-wracking when you talk about people entering those tunnels. Well, that's like someone entering your home, your bedroom.
Yes.
So you're violating.
Yes.
Now, and we're talking about military. Our militaries, we have no idea what a lot of our military men and women have gone through and why their emotion, mental state is where it is. So that's a big reason why we're doing the Home of the Brave, because we always say thank you for your service, but do most people even have a clue of what some of these vets went through and why they have these PTSD issues, these emotional problems, these trust issues, and the list goes on. And the things they've seen, the things they've experienced. Imagine you shooting at people and you kind of hitting the enemy. But what do you think is going on where you are, where you're shooting from? While you're shooting in the direction to the enemy, you got to be wondering, God, I hope none of their bullets hit me.
yeah,
I'm laughing, but it's not a funny matter.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a big need to do some things for our vets, and that's a big part of what Home of the Brave is. Our TV and primetime competition show is about. We want the most talented people, so we hope people will submit. But the goal is to do something other than saying thank you for your service. Like, what the hell does that mean?
yeah.
I'm a veteran, but I might have PTSD, but it's not from not from my military days. Yeah, sometimes just living in the hood, you can get PTSD. So you don't have to be a veteran.
No, that's true.
But Home of the Brave,
I mean, that in itself, that's
It's still warfare in
Yes.
some places.
Yes.
well, but it's we're talking about emotional stuff and mental problems. I was talking to a young man maybe 2 or 3 nights ago, and he's in his 50s. I said, young man, he's in his early 50s, but his mom died about 10 years ago, and he said his mom died too early. His mom was his best friend, and they had too much to go through and talk about. And he said, and I had to let him know, your mom didn't leave you, bro. She died.
Yeah.
So people sometimes need more than a brief conversation on topics like this, because I don't know what my man was really meaning and saying to me, but it didn't make sense to me. I said, man, your mom is gone. She didn't take her life. She just died.
Yeah.
But he said, but man, she died too soon. It's like, if I could go and get her and tell her that, Mom, I said, you can't go get her.
No.
But I'm saying that not to be discounting it or to make light of it, but the circumstances and the situations that people go through emotionally is a whole nother animal. So back to Home of the Brave, this national TV competition is for veterans. It's for brothers and sisters, moms or dads of veterans, children, grandchildren. There's no age limit, but the prizes are phenomenal. There's going to be a major cash prize, brand new automobile, a record contract. But we're looking for the quote unquote talented people with military connectivity to be a part of this competition. There will be no judges. The judging, we're not promoting judges. We're not necessarily looking for the we're not telling you we're going to create the next American Idol and you don't know where the idol at.
Yeah.
20 years later, we saw no, who's the idol? I don't remember.
Nope.
Who could it be? We want to really do something to help the veterans, the disabled veterans, the homeless veterans, and quote unquote the Gold Star kids, the kids who lost a parent. We want to help them to go to college. We want to help get some of the homeless veterans in a home. So our no judges is because we're going to do 99-cent downloads. That's how, if you like somebody that performed for the Army, it would be nice if you did the 99-cent download for the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine, Space Force, Coast Guard. Do everybody, but most people are going to have a favorite.
Yeah.
And in the military itself, there's a lot of competition. You know, I've heard somebody from Army say, "Oh man, we're gonna win it." I've heard somebody from the Navy say, "Oh, they ain't got no talent. We're gonna win it." I don't know where it's gonna go, but it's okay. We will do this show. Our first show is going to be a 1-hour special, but it's going to segue into a 13-week episode. So there's going to be a Home of the Brave. Every year we'll do 2, and the goal is to spotlight our veteran and our veteran community. Whether you work at a PBX or military establishment, or you're a veteran. Jen, what were one of your parents was in?
Yes, my dad was in the Navy for 34 years.
So if you were voting and you had Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, would you vote Navy or would you vote for who you think is the best talent?
Man. It's like, do I go with legacy or do I go? Because my background, I used to work for the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. So myself, I was a DOD civilian.
Army, Navy,
and Marine Corps. So I've worked for all 3 of those branches while I was overseas in Japan. Mm-hmm. My dad is Navy, so I feel like my heart would tug to Navy. At the same time, I'm also a creative. So like there's the talent side of it as well. Like what resonates more with me? Because if there's like a poet up there.
But if they're going to win cash money, an automobile, and a recording contract, which branch person would you vote for out of those 3? Because you just mentioned 3.
I did. I feel like the Navy would be kind of where my heart would sit just because of my ties. But
even if the Army performance was better and it was a better talent,
and that's what I'm saying.
But if it was the Army person was like I don't know, a little Michael Jackson kind of, would you not vote for that person?
I'm considering all the options.
Well,
I will consider all the options.
Who would you want to win? Because you got 3 branches.
Oh, he's putting me on the spot.
Yeah, he's narrowing it down.
I'm curious. No, because
maybe I'll just go Space Force and I'll just completely throw it all the way to the left. I have friends in the Space Force. Give them.
You
shine
mean
them
you
some
would
light
put
on
Space
them.
Force over the Air Force?
Okay. Oh, you're trying to make me. Do you want me to have friends after this, or?
Just asking.
It's funny because I have a few groups of friends and they're split up into different branches of the military. So some of my friends are Army, some of them are Marines, and they didn't know each other until we all hung out and we get a few drinks. And then it just comes up every single time. They're all yelling at each other and you're Chair Force this, and they're going back and forth and like, you guys don't do nothing but ride around the boat all day. But these guys, they love each other. But it's so funny just seeing the competition. So yeah, it's gonna spark up.
Did you get to see like a push-up contest? Did they get
Oh,
to that?
yeah.
Okay.
They get to
I don't
that,
know what it
and-
is, but the push-ups come out.
in the middle of the bar. In the middle of the bar, everybody's in the PTs just doing push-ups. So these guys, I wanted to ask on that. You said talent. So what are the limits of the talent? Because I know "Home of the Brave" comes from the national anthem. So it sounds like in most people's minds, it would spark up to think, okay, is this a singing competition? Or can somebody say, I can do the most push-ups as their talent?
I'm not going to say no to that, but it is a talent competition, and we're looking for the most talented person. In theory, we think music, we think comedians, we think dancers. I'm thinking singers, but it could be. Somebody mentioned Kenny G to me, and I said, well, why don't you tell me Grover Washington or Donald Byrd and the Blackbirds? 'Cause I might have a different read on that. But you could be an instrumentalist, a musician, or you can be a band. So what if you were a New Edition? Great example. You got 5 guys, sometimes 6, but they're all talented. And so do you spin off with a My Prerogative and you say, oh, I'm voting for him because I like that song. So Bobby Brown wins as opposed to New Edition?
I mean, they got it.
But you could enter as a group.
And as long as they fit the parameter for what the guidelines are for the show. So I love that it extends
bad,
out.
Be good. Bad meaning good as good can be.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the bad. I'm talking about good as good
So,
can possibly be. Be real bad. Then it doesn't matter. I'm thinking of a comedian, Sinbad. He came from, I think, a show called, I think it was Star Search. I think it was the Ed McMahon. Most people don't know this Star Search show, but it was a Johnny Carson sidekick guy named Ed McMahon who had his own show who would have mostly kids, young people, competing on Star Search. And that's where Sinbad came from. So you could be a combination of things, but and like I said, be bad. Mean, be as good can be, because it's a competition. And we're accepting submissions now. Our submissions cut off on December 1st, and we're going to pick the 6 best. But you got to represent 6 different branches. So if we get 5 people and they're all really super good and they're all Army, well, we might have to rethink what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, man, they have 5 or 6 Army people and only 1 Navy.
I'm voting Navy.
I'm voting Navy.
But I'm being facetious. But we don't know what we're going to get. I just encourage your viewers to write down www.homeofthebravetv.com. That's the site. Go there. We're taking 30 to 60-second submissions of whatever your talent is. And again, if we ended up finding ourselves, I don't know, I'm going to say a Kevin Hart or a Sinbad kind of a amazing comedian, but you guys, the audience, they're going to be the judge, not me.
That makes it, takes off some of the pressure from you, because, I mean, there's going to be a wide range of people. So we get to see if there's a Kevin Hart versus a Whitney Houston kind of singer. And, you know, it could just really come down to how much you really love the act itself.
It's going to take the politics out of it.
Yeah.
That's what it really is going to do. The pressure from me is secondary. When you take the politics out, that means now the American public, your viewers, the veterans in the Army, the Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, they're gonna play a major role. And the downloads are 99 cents, and a big portion of that 99 cents is to help the disabled and the homeless veterans and our kids who've lost parents. And we're also going to be looping in with some colleges, so maybe we'll get some scholarships that we don't have to pay for. But the 99-cent download will help in doing all of that. And we want to make a difference. We want to make a difference for our veterans, for their families. most people don't realize what the families go through
Yes.
when they got a family member that goes away, heaven forbid, and don't come back,
Yeah.
or come back with some remains in a box and a flag,
Oh,
and
my God.
Mm.
it's deep.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's incredible that you guys extended this to family members as well who have been scared, worried, and panicking for their family members to come back safely. Jen, I wanted to ask you, what are your opinions for the family members being able to be participants inside the competition as well?
That for me was one of the points that I was like, oh yeah, because so my roots, like I told you, I worked for the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. So I used to work for the Boys and Girls Club for the military overseas. So a big part of my roots as well is for the teens and the youth of the military. So when I heard that part, I was like, oh yes, absolutely, because we not taking away from the people actively in the military because they're doing amazing things, but the fact that we get to shine light on veterans, veteran family members, DOD civilians and their family members, and then active duty family members. Like that to me was like, oh yeah, I got to be a part of this, because as a kid, I would have loved to see this, you know what I mean? Growing up and having an opportunity, like, wait, I get to be a part of it. And specifically, it's not just like a global thing, but specifically military affiliated. So that for me was like, oh yeah, I gotta jump in and figure out a way to really do an all ages thing. That kind of is where it was born from, because I'm actually planning like a nice little veterans event to kind of like push this right before the December 1st. So
Oh, that's going to be beautiful.
yeah, absolutely.
What are you planning?
What
You don't
am I
mind me
planning?
asking?
Absolutely.
You said
So-
a veterans event, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. So the whole concept is
Talent show?
It's going to be more of a showcase and just a give back to the veterans. So I don't want to give too many details. We're still kind of ironing and buttoning things down. But the concept is before the December 1st submission, that weekend before, November 30th, we'll do a veterans give back, like inviting veterans out, having services for them, giveaways, raffles, also showcasing some talent here in Vegas. So it's more so just to provide a space to actively do a live submission for Home of the Brave TV, so people can shoot their videos there. You could do it from the safety of your home as well. But if you wanted to come out and join us, which I would highly suggest you do to support the veteran families and the vets and just anyone who's military friendly, to come out and join us for it. So I will have more details and absolutely would love to share that with you as we continue. I'll have more details this week.
Yes,
I have
absolutely.
more.
That's
So
great.
that's why I've
That's
had,
great.
and that's why I've been really kind of pushing to meet with these different veteran organizations. And of course, I picked the month that they're all doing Veterans Day, so they're all like slammed, and I'm walking in like, you want to do another thing? Come on,
brilliant. That's brilliant.
But it's been amazing to reconnect, because it just, like, once again, when it's in your blood. Like you can run as much as you want to, but when there's certain things that you kind of have to, when you have a voice, sometimes there is a responsibility there.
Absolutely.
So it means something to me. I was a military kid, and I know to some other military kids out there, this is going to be the world to them, because they have an opportunity to change their entire family's life.
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah. Not only change their entire family's life, begin to put our military in a space where we're now celebrating our military and our veterans.
Yes.
And I mention the family members because the family members have a hole in their heart when they lose someone.
Oh, yeah.
Or when they come back and they're no longer like the guy who you've lost both legs,
Yeah.
or you have PTSD and you just, you're spooked by the least things that are most of us don't even think twice about. And you see that as a family member. So we're giving the family members, if that's where the talent is, if it's in one of your kids, sign them up.
Yeah.
Submit a video clip. 30 to 60-second video clip is what we're asking for. I might mention that I have 3 partners. James Cheevius, and I call him Jim. He's the brainchild behind Home of the Brave.
Okay.
There's Virgil Roberts, who's a legal fourth on our team, but Virgil was also Virgil was the legal counsel on the third version of American Idol. And he talked about how, the celebrity element of what happens to people when they're on a show like Home of the Brave, and they get all this exposure, and whether they win or not, it's like your celebrity level goes way up here, and if you don't win, it goes really, really low. And I'm not saying that to discourage people, but I'm saying that to say those are things that we're very cognizant of. And Virgil said for the American Idol, for example, he said they would always have therapists to help the contestants to understand and navigate through the highs and lows of what these opportunities present. Yeah.
And how to
it's
process
kind of like
it.
celebrity, right? It's kind of like how we all responded when we saw the Will Smith slap on the stage. Like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
And it's bigger than what we saw that moment. And those kind of things are real. So unless there's kind of like if you're driving a car and the steering wheel falls off, you got a problem because now you don't have the ability to navigate. And so there's a need for people to be guided and coached and mentored. I have a publicity friend, a girl named Lynn Jeter, and she did that with so many people. In fact, Lynn Jeter has helped us because we're going to have a co-host that, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this or not, but one of our co-hosts for Home of the Brave is going to be an incredibly talented woman by the name of Lisa Ray. She'll be one of two. And that's all I can say. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I said it.
Well, we heard it here first. Right?
But it's about elevating our veterans and our veteran community, not just for the month of Veterans Day, but ongoing. So this show is designed to put a different spotlight on our brave men and women.
Absolutely.
Of the military.
And I think going with what you said, these are real people with real stories instead of, outsider opinions where the military is just a group of people who are weaponized. But instead of just thinking that these are real people who are putting their lives on the line, and even who aren't putting their lives on the line, but just entrusting their family members who are out there. So it means something deeply. And Jen, I want to make sure that you know as well, we'll make sure to support and show up for your event. And we will also put word out there as well. We greatly appreciate what both of you guys are doing. And I wanted to make sure that we also have complete contact with all of our listeners and viewers, so that way they stay up to date, and we'll have links provided for them.
Oh, amazing.
So they'll also have social media accounts for them to follow as well. You guys can see that constantly.
But what I'd love for your viewers to do is, if they're not connected with a military or a veteran or want to submit, to share the link to this podcast with friends or family members of theirs. Absolutely. Who might choose to enter the competition. And who knows? Again, I'm curious. I am curious as to who's going to win this first version of Home of the Brave.
No, absolutely.
Will it be? I'm not asking you.
Don't ask me, because I might just vote for everybody. I'm like, I do have ties in the Marine Corps, so I'll give them a vote.
But I would encourage your viewers to, if they have a branch affiliation, to reference what their branch is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everybody shouting out, especially. Go ahead in the comments, shout out exactly which branch you think is going to win, or which branch you have support for, or that you just want to highlight.
Ooh, I have some of the names too of some of the organizations, so I wanted to kind of shout those out. We spoke about them a little
Absolutely.
bit. Veterans Social Club, that's the one where they kind of try to bring veterans out the house and do different events for them. Shine a Light is actually the one from the tunnel. That's the organization as well. And then I know U.S. Vets are doing some things for homeless vets as well. They provide a really good service here in Vegas. There's plenty more. As well, but I just wanted to make sure I said some of those
Oh,
names
no,
because
thank you.
those are the ones I was speaking of. So.
Well, one of our partners is also a guy named John Nettlesby, who worked with Michael Jackson, who worked with Quincy Jones. He's Mariah Carey's sound engineer. If you're doing anything at all that has a talent component to it,
Yes.
give me a heads up. I'll make sure that John and I are both there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
That's great.
That's gonna be incredible. That's gonna be incredible. I'm excited, guys.
Yeah.
So
So excited.
for our next segment, we have What's Up With That, where I'm going to show you guys a photo and I'm going to just see if you guys are familiar with it and what do you think is going on with it.
Oh, here we go.
So here's What's Up With That. So what do you guys think is going on here in this photo, and are you familiar with it?
I'm not familiar with it. I'm sure it's probably going to be an answer that's as clear as black and white, but I don't know.
Right.
It's interesting.
I can look at the photo and make some assumptions, but I am not familiar with this specifically.
So many people are startled, sometimes even scared to know that this was a historical fact that during World War II, there were painted ships that were painted in vibrant colors called dazzle ships that were to throw off any enemies in the waters while they were approaching. And it would be hard to target the ship itself. So there were multiple ships that were colored in bright fluorescent colors. This one is the closest representation that we have with some of the color in it. They usually look black and white for some of those photos. But yeah, that's one of the procedures that the Navy proceeded with in the 1940s.
I feel like I should have known this.
A zebra ship.
So, no, yeah, very interesting. So yeah, that's where that they have some of them stationed off where you can go visit some of the dazzle ships as well.
Oh, they're
But it
still
was-
around.
Yeah, they don't make them anymore, but the
Right, of
old
course.
ones, they're still in existence. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Just something,
Yeah.
food for thought for all of
Yeah.
our viewers and listeners too.
I've been on a few like Navy ships, submarine, some cool things like, never been on a dazzle ship.
Oh yeah. Now you got something to look forward to. You got
Exactly. Add that to my list.
Yeah, I've been on a few ships in San Diego that were just interesting, but old ships. But I'm an Air Force guy, so the ships were not.
Gonna stay
part
true
of-
to that.
Oh yeah, that's kind of where my foundation. I have a brother who was 26 years in the Navy. I have another brother who put 26 years in, and he did Air Force and Army.
Okay.
He
Okay.
did Air Force and Army.
Yeah, because there are
Yeah.
people that do that.
Yeah.
They
They
do
do
shift
both.
over.
Yeah.
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 So I wonder who they're voting for.
That's a good question.
Well, that brother who did the Air Force and Army said to me that he's a musician as well. He said he would vote for the best talent.
Interesting.
He didn't care what branch. He said he would vote for the best talent.
That's kind of how I feel like where my vote would lie. Like, you hope it's, your ties. You're like, yeah, why not? But you can't deny talent. You can't deny someone the heart. When somebody's on that stage and they're connecting, there's certain magical moments that people get on stage and the whole audience just gets silent, and you know that they've captured,
Yeah.
the heart, and you're like, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
So I think I would lean towards the talent as well versus chasing just the okay, this person's Army, Navy, But I'm sure there's people that are gung-ho that are going to be like, oh, no, we're Army's winning it, Navy's
Yeah.
winning it, Space
Yeah.
Force is winning it,
Yeah.
but I think the talent's gonna definitely speak for itself.
Oh yeah,
you
and
know.
I think there's gonna be some surprises in there. I understand a lot of people have this impression that most of our military is very stern, strict.
Yep.
And to see, for example, like there was a Simplify guy who's a comedian. I think that would blow everyone's mind. Like here we got someone who's very on point with everything that they do, and they just let loose. I think it's gonna be really fun to see.
Yeah. Well, the military is very rigid. You have a responsibility. You got a lane. You have to play your lane. Very, very important. Especially when it comes to war, supplies. We think about bombs and all that. All that same thing. It's very specific, very purpose-driven, and whatever your lane is,
right.
Master your lane.
Absolutely.
The military would like not to be like horseshoes. We say, "Oh, almost had it." Almost is no good in the military.
No.
You just get her done.
Yeah. Well, lives are on the line.
Yes.
Yeah. Lives are always on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's key. When you have that separation of, okay, it's kind of like work as well, where you're like, okay, this is who I am at work and this is who I am when I'm off of the field or I'm not in the office anymore. So seeing that contrast is going to be something interesting, especially, if there's anyone who was underneath the superiority of someone that's auditioning as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But guys, I want to thank you so much again for your time, and also thank our troops, active and also retired military veterans as well. Ernie, Jen from Japan, thank you guys so much for your time, and this has been Know Your Role. We appreciate you guys,
Thank you.
and we'll
Thank
keep
you
you
so
guys
much.
updated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.